What up, nerds? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Leslie, and today on The Nerdy Narrative, I'm going to talk about the newest release from Emily Henry, a book about a pair of opposites with the wrong thing in common. It's really kind of a funny story, one you have to read to believe, and if you love contemporary romance and this book isn't already on your TBR, let's see if it is by the time I finish this video. I would also describe this one as having a fresh start trope with a twist. Let's talk about it and see if I can get this one on your TBR if it's not already. Emily Henry is someone who is able to write characters you can relate to. They're unforgettable. To be completely honest with you, I read this book over a month ago and I'm just now filming the review. Okay, well, sort of. I filmed a review, I sat down to edit it, and I absolutely hated it, and I decided to can it and refilm it, so that's what I'm doing here today. Daphne had always loved the way her fiance Peter would tell the story of how they met. He was really good at it too, until he came home from his bachelor party and told her he realized that he has been in love with his childhood best friend Petra. They're going to go away on a trip. They're actually about to leave, and if she could just go ahead and vacate the premises while they're gone. Whew. Just imagining if something like that happened to me, I would not have responded the same way that she did. Though, to be fair, I think she was in shock. She had been living this fairy tale life over the last few months, and to hear that, it was so out of left field, so unexpected. And of course, Peter had been telling her all this time, Petra's just my best friend. Petra's just my best friend. We've been friends since we were kids. She and I are practically family. So Daphne had come to terms with this, had accepted this friendship, and now to have this all come crashing down around her, she was in shock. And this is where our story gets its true start. Daphne is stranded in Waning Bay, Michigan, at least for a few months. She can't move back home because when she moved here, she landed her dream job as a children's librarian. She has this big event planned at the library that she's been putting together, and she's determined to stay and see that through, but she's got to have a place to live, and the only other person that she feels will understand her predicament is her ex-fiance's ex-boyfriend. Did I fail to mention that Petra was also in a relationship? Yeah, so that's our other main character, Miles. Miles and Daphne are the complete opposite of one another. Emily Henry really tickled me. She leaned heavy into the librarian stereotype when she describes Daphne, just the way that she dresses and how she acts. Miles, on the other hand, is scruffy, chaotic, he's never on time, and he loves to sing sad songs, even when he's in a good mood. These two are really good about managing to avoid one another, but there comes this day, and it has to do with Miles singing a sad song where they end up drowning their troubles together, and they do something really dumb. The really good bad idea these two came up with was to post a picture together on social media, and they had this plan that they were going to do all of this stuff over the summer. They're going to post pictures and make it look like they're in a relationship together and show up to Petra and Peter's wedding. There ain't a soul watching this that doesn't know what happened next. It's a contemporary romance after all, but all of this stuff that happens in between is such gold. Emily Henry is just an author who writes the best banter between characters. When you strip away all of the banter, and I know I've been talking about the humorous light on the situation that Daphne and Miles are in, you realize this book is about the devastating loss of a life that you thought you were going to have. Daphne knew what her forever looked like and who it was that was going to share it with her. And when that rug got ripped out from underneath her, Emily Henry captured the devastation that Daphne felt. When you experience this type of loss, just how abrupt it is, it's like someone died. The thing that I love the most about Funny Story, besides the banter, besides the humor, besides the wonderful characters that this author can always create, she always seems to have this uncanny ability of putting feelings into words. Or maybe I just say that because I am terrible at it. I could never be an author, ever, ever, ever. But the feeling that she put into words in Funny Story that stood out to me the most, made the most impact, is that you shouldn't just always want to be with somebody because of how they make you feel when things are going right. This is the person you want to be with when everything's going wrong. That just blew my mind when I read that. When that character had that epiphany, that realization, it had such an impact on me. I just had to put the book down and just go, wow, and just let that sink in for a minute. That's just not the typical type of advice you hear when people ask about a successful relationship. All the time when people ask Chris and I, we've always said marry your best friend because that's what we did and it worked for us. But I'm going to start telling people, choose someone you want to be with when everything's going wrong. That pretty well sums up all of my thoughts and opinions regarding my experience reading Emily Henry's new book, Funny Story. I would absolutely recommend this one to anyone who loves reading romance. You just cannot go wrong with Emily Henry. She is the queen of romance novels. I'm gonna put my flag on that hill, even though I haven't read a whole ton of romance. That has changed. Emily Henry has changed me. I've been reading romance here and there every month and loving it. I don't foresee me quitting this genre anytime soon, especially as long as Emily Henry keeps putting out these wonderful books. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have this one on your TBR if you haven't read it already. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one.